It's not a fee. It's not a fee. It's actually just the cost of transmitting this material. There are no financial benefits. The
Absolutely
clinic
not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're happy. Look, we look forward to the facts coming out.
I think the per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it. Because if you have someone in a really anti-state that's going to be doing this for you, they're probably going to get caught. About 20, anywhere between 18 on a light day, but up to 25 patients a day. Obviously not all in the gestational age that you're interested in. But you want mostly over 14s?
Yeah. You can kind of play with that lower range, I think, if the specimens are coming out more intact. And so that, I guess we'll kind of get a first-hand look at that today, later on. How many procedures are scheduled?
Can I interrupt just right there when you're talking about an intact specimen? So how many of those do you see?
An intact specimen?
Within. So what's your volume on an average Tuesday?
With just second tries? Mm-hmm. For maybe 5. So anywhere as low as 3 up to 7.
Okay. All right. And so intact.
Intact, so we do basically D&Es. Intact is probably less than 10%.
Less than 10%.
Sometimes, if someone delivers before we are able to see them for procedure, then we are intact.
But you'll
that's
never
not
know.
what we go for.
Yeah.
We try for that to not happen.
Okay.
Sometimes, if someone delivers before we are able to see them for procedure, then we are intact.
So obviously we want product that we can use.
Yep.
That's
I think that's probably the biggest thing is that we want to avoid paying for material that we're not going to be able to process and use and send to researchers. So if there's, we certainly see a difference between, it makes a big difference to us if there's a case that is, so mangled we can't even get like a shred of, piece of liver out of it versus something that we can get, we can get liver, thymus, pancreas, and neural tissue.
So
obviously that second case is a lot more.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean
so
to.
compensation could be specific to the specimen.
Okay. And I think then we would just, I think for us, we would need criteria.
Yeah, clear criteria.
For what makes something
usable or not.
Okay.
Right.
And even if you have pictures, because I think some of it is visual, at least at this level.
Right.
Because we're not looking at things under the microscope too able to see whether it's usable or not.
Right.
So this is going to be naked eye determination, and so those kinds of things of what you're looking for. Obviously, you'd get trained. I don't know if I've ever seen a thymus, but maybe I haven't. I don't know. But I know I've seen livers, I've seen stomachs, I've seen plenty of neural tissue. We usually you can see the whole brain usually come out. When you get to 17, 18 weeks, because we do some of those, and that's when you're doing a lot more of the D&E, and you might get larger. So that's where we'd have to do a little bit of training with the providers on making sure they didn't crush or were able to.
So it's a matter of just training, it sounds like, to a provider.
I think so. It's hard to know how their specimens come out right now because it's not like we've ever been looking.
Right. It's not your. Yeah.
We haven't been looking, so it's we have to kind of see the baseline of how things are getting extracted now, and then see if we could do any work with them to maybe be a little bit more gentle.
Right.
So I feel like if you're talking to other Planned Parenthoods, we sort of all have to be on the same page,
Right.
Almost to the point where we have to disclose to each other that we're all doing this. So if anyone gets called out or runs with it, that we're all like, oh, I didn't know you were doing this. Oh, I'm doing this too. Oh, we have to be I think we have to be coordinated with each
To keep
other.
the story straight.
Yeah.
almost.
Well, and to make sure that we're all saying the same thing.
Right.
And that the CEOs are all saying the same thing.
Right.
Um,
I think the resistance that I have felt is from people that, yes, they want to do it, but they don't understand that doing it right can be easy, just with getting the attorneys on board, having, I mean, we all know that, for example, compensation. I want to come in and pay you top dollar for, because I know what you're going to be facing and I want you to be happy. I want to make sure our suppliers are happy. So compensation, okay, your cost is negligent. So it could look like we're paying you for
Right.
specimens. So let's talk about it correctly.
Mhm.
We all know that, yes, that's what we're
it's food
doing.
processing and time. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, I am paying you, but how we're talking about it out there in the public square.
Are the other Planned Parenthoods doing this through research, or are they just doing it as a standalone contract?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we're doing it through research, if it comes up that someone else is just doing it as a business sort of venture,
Mm-hmm.
it puts a different spin on it.
Mhm.
So how could you imagine that being handled if that is?
We'd have to, that's where, I mean, I'd have to talk to Deb and see who else was involved,
Mhm.
and get us all together. I think Deb could probably spearhead something, so to sort of be on the tail end of your conversations where you actually have contracts in place.
Are we talking about Deb Nucatola or Deb Vanderheij? Nucatola, because so I feel like she has said before that they decided at national that research was overkill for tissue procurement because it's not really research, it's just collecting
Well, I
tissue,
know
so there's no
that
study.
putting it under the research gives us a little bit of a little overhang sort of over the whole thing.
It makes it look better.
Yeah, I mean, publicly, I think it makes a lot more sense for it to be in the research vein than as a,
Right, it's how we
Business
talk
venture.
about it. Yeah, it's
How
how
we
we
talk
talk
about
about it.
so even though they don't want to do it, and I may need to call research and Deb and just kind of shake this out because I do want the other Planned Parenthood, I want us all to be making the same decision. So if we all decide that we're going to do it outside of research, then we do it outside of research. But if we all decide we're going to do it under research, that we have a different path, that we know that we're all registering and doing the same thing. Again, it's just that cohesive bond, I think. That we
So you really think there should almost be a national policy and protocol for how Planned Parenthood affiliates do tissue
we
procurement?
can't, just because we're all so different.
Oh.
But we have to know who else is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have someone in a really anti-state that's going to be doing this for you, they're probably going to get caught.
How confident are you with your attorneys' work that you've seen? They're building many layers so that they are making it difficult.
He's got it figured out that he knows that even if, because we talked to him in the beginning, we were like, we don't want to get called on, selling beetle parts across.
Neither do we.
states. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to get.
Right, so how do we protect ourselves
from that?
And you feel confident that they're building those layers and...
I'm confident that our legal will make sure that we are not put in that situation.
Was that crack? Was that just the little bits of the skull?
Mm-hmm. So in terms of, I just want to see one leg or foot.
That's the heart.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Here's the heart.
Everyone's
I
trying to
think-
get in on it.
My fingers will smush it if I try to.
Would you try
pick
it?
it
The heart is
We
right
found
there.
heart over there.
So would you call that intact?
These are intact
Yeah,
kidneys,
okay.
yes. If somebody needed...
Because if I looked at that, I'd be like, that's good to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's like 21.
Yeah.
5 stars.
There was like 3 or 4 samples we could have taken out of the 11.6, so that would be,
Excellent.
if we were doing like, 50 to 75 per specimen, that would be like 200, 300, right? And we'd be comfortable with that. But like, so it's like stuff like this, like we don't want to be like just a flat fee of like 200 and then, it's like...
No, and, I think that I think the per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it. So what do people, do they want brain?
Fascinating.
What do they do with
Yeah,
it?
no. So brain, what you can do is with brain they.
Do people do stuff with eyeballs?
Oh yeah. Although eyeballs, they generally want more developed than this. And the cow, at first there was brain in here.
Blasted out.
When they got blasted out with the water.
Well, you know, a lot of times, especially with the second tries, is we won't even put water because it's so big. You can just put your hand in there and pick out
Right,
the
and
parts.
just pick it up.
So I don't think they would be as war-torn.
Yeah. War torn. Oh dear.
Well, here's some organs for you. They're all attached. Here's the
Really?
stomach.
Oops, sorry. We both of you. Kidney?
Heart. It's the stomach.
Yeah.
A heart.
Kidney.
Kidney and adrenal. I don't know what else is in there. Tiny.
Arms. I don't see the legs. Did you see any legs?
I didn't really look, but
Oh, there's some. Oh,
There you
they
go.
are.
Yep. You got all of them right
And
there.
another boy. Another boy. Boy. Boy.